Alright, what's up yins guys? Time for another video. And I'm gonna try to do this video without laughing because maybe there might be quite a few yins guys that have stories like this that you want to laugh about. This was from back in my younger days, but you could be at any age, at any time, and have this going on. This is gonna be talking about how you have maybe these co-workers or whatever, or former co-workers, right, at the place you were working, right, that are alcoholics or whatever. That's their whole reason for living, and they're okay. They may be okay as people, or you get along with them, and some of them are like you just listen to their jibber jabber and just say uh-huh. But anyway, it can vary. Some of them you might like more than others, but this is about how you might get if you guys have any stories about how people like us, like alcoholics like us, would try to invite you to go drink, but it would be leading, even when you say no, it's always eventually leading that they want to weasel their way literally into your life and try to move in with you. You probably know a few of these. Some of them same color as you, some of them are not the same color as you, or but ways of, this would be like certain tips or joke about it, certain ways on how to totally interrupt and stop it in its tracks, because you know what it's actually leading to. And I made stories about this. I actually made a video about gang stalking once, just to talk about this, about how people would talk about the gang stalking videos, about having a handler. I will make videos like that just to take shots at bullshit like this. So I said in a video before that a lot of the people that want to buddy up with you, oh, let's go, how you want to go have a drink, or go out to the bar, have a drink, you know how they want to be. I made it a point about they want to be your handler. They want you to be some stupid fool that's following them around. They see you. Some people, if it's a buddy of yours, nothing wrong with after work having a drink, but you get these people, right, that in their eyes they're up here and you're a little down here. They're never at, you don't see you at their level. They're looking for, they'll even pretend to play feeble attempts and trying to win you over, or like try to relate their personal problems to something of you, try to dig in for any personal problems of yours or whatever, like some wife that did them wrong or whatever the hell. But anyway, yeah, going putting aside okay, these are ones I had experiences with that way, that I always said no. I really didn't want to drink. I wanted to go place on my own after work, and I liked having stuff. And for one thing, in my first place, I wasn't no fucking buddy in there. There was these other people that I went to school with years ago, or younger people like that on the far left, the things, white leftists that, oh, they think that's in high regard. Get out of their parents' house and they can get money together to buy beer and weed or whatever. That's held in high regard. There are some people that like to do that, and they get in their first jobs and they'll get in the same job together, and they do that and they buddy up. But a lot of times when people ask you to go out for a drink or whatever and be friendly, it's usually a way to weasel their way into your life, and they want to buddy up with you so they can weasel their way into your life and maybe think you're a stupid ass wanting to follow them around, be following them around all the time, and you paying for everything or whatever. You learn this from stories of people older than you when you were younger that fell for the shit, temporarily or whatever the hell, and then you got older and you remember that shit and you're like, fuck no. But anyway, even beyond, okay, I'm going to talk about even beyond where, and I'm trying not to laugh talking this video. I see the faces of certain people that tried this. Say, even if you always, they asked repeatedly, trying to urge John, said no. You always said no. You don't feel like it because right there it's because they don't have no money of their own. coworker, it's a pain in the ass. You always make excuses. You just say, no, I don't got the time. Not interested. But even despite being, telling them several times on different occasions, you're not interested, they would eventually, like, during lunch or follow you or work or something, and make a long dragged out story about how their ex-wife put a PFA on them, and they're on their way out or whatever, and gradually trying to lead into trying to buddy up so they can stay with you or whatever. And then you see that shit anyway. Not to go on and on in the video about it, but you guys, in the back of your head, there may have been times where you've seen this shit coming, because, not to make a long story about it, there were scenarios, okay, some of you guys may have seen this because you got to know this person and used to hear their talk to other people all the way from here. Like, you're over here working, and all the way from here they'd be talking to other people, and so you got to know their ways really well, and you can see that shit coming, right? And if you got this far in this video, the shit that I used to like to do, to see that coming, I used to like to interfere with their story. If they're talking about they're being oppressed, you know how you'll go for a while, maybe say but if you get on to them and know how they are, instead of just totally listening to them, what you do is, like, even if you're not oppressed, say whether you have an ex-wife or an ex-girlfriend or not, just make up some wife or ex-girlfriend. The point would be, when they're trying to say how they're oppressed, is then everything's their ex-wife's fault. They put a PFA on you. They're looking for a place. They're leading in to look for a place to stay. You feel sorry for them. You keep cutting them off in the middle of the story and start making it about you. Oh, just say some girlfriend or somewhere and start going yammering on, and deliberately try to deliberately annoy them by trying to tell a long ass story when they keep trying to tell their story. Let them tell part of it, right? But then you keep every little piece of their story that you tell, instead of trying to resonate with them, because they're hoping that you sympathize and they want you to do what they want, trying to lead into want you to sympathize. Man, deliberately talk them to death. You deliberately talk them to death, every little piece of it. Compare it to something about you, not to go below them. As a matter of fact, the object of the game to be to overwhelm them and talk them to death about how, if it's something that police got involved or whatever. And there's even scenarios where, if it leads to, when you're being asked about them giving you a place to stay, this shit is more fun and easier than saying, hey man, I sort of sympathize, but I really don't. Fuck you. Go sleep it off somewhere else. Find another fool to go to the bar and sleep it off somewhere else. What you want to say, what you actually want to say in your own mind is like, hey, man, how fucking stupid you think I am, man. You think that, and on the verge of, and you had a deal of not holding a job, for example. You'd have some of them that they were working with you, and you see them around, and they literally couldn't hold the job or whatever, blame their ex-wife, and they were alcoholics or whatever. And you're in your own mind, now you want to say, hey, fuck you. No, you think your ass is going to be sleeping and sitting on my couch, ashtray over here, and drinking while my ass comes from work, or my poor cat or dog, if you have a cat or a dog, is hiding from you, or whatever the hell you're. Or these are kind of people you might figure there'll be some kind of shit missing from your place and they don't know where it is, and you'll be asking them, hey, you don't got no money or a job, where'd you get that beer? In a scenario you might have been once working with them. But anyway, these are the kind of people that say you may have worked with a period of time, and then you see them around, they working here, and all of a sudden they're working here. Then you hear from somebody else that they couldn't hold a job for some damn reason. It was always their ex-wife's fault. And in their own mind, in their world, they think every dude, every male that they talk to is some alcoholic that, like them, that they drink with, and that they can get a cigarette from, that they're automatically entitled to say, oh, I need a cigarette, oh, I have money, need a minute for beer, let's go drink, and then by the way, let's buddy up, and you go in your be living in your place so that I can and then yeah, you're supposed to be following them around like a fool, or you know what I mean, like in your mind you're laughing, you want to laugh in their face, they sit there and say, oh fuck you, no. But it can be like, you know, I mean, this comes from like you were paying attention to when they're telling their other people over here over the workplace the same story, and it gets to you because you have to work next to them at some point in time. Since you're wise to them because of you're hearing their conversations, you know what I'm saying? What you do is deliberately not let them completely talk, and creating a scenario where it's about you, compare it to some problem you had, exaggerate some, you know, don't use no real ex-girlfriend, just say, oh, I have, every time they say something to try to lead up to you feeling sorry for them, and you're supposed to go drink with them, and then eventually you're supposed to let them move in with you. You know that's the game, so just don't use no real ex-girlfriend that you had, and of course, because they don't deserve that. Just say, I had this ex. Every time they say something, you go, oh, I had this girlfriend, blah, 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 blah. Talk them. I mean, yeah, you could say, no, fuck no, but it's kind of like, I don't know, puts a smile on your face in your own mind that you can just fuck with these people, and it's an easier way to blow them off. Do something like you know what I mean, to overwhelm them so they don't ever want to, you know what I mean, even when they try the shit a couple of times, if you had to be around them at any workplace, I mean, they eventually give up. And there were scenarios where they would quit talking to you and they'd give you these dirty ass looks, or be with these other people over in the workplace and they might do some heckling. That has happened too. That doesn't hurt anybody, but yeah, when they get wise that that's what you're doing, I'm saying that, yeah, you might eventually get dirty looks and heckles, and they'll start gaslighting you at the workplace a little bit, just because they're mad, because they figure out exactly what you're doing, because you know why, it'll get noticeable to them in your face that, you know, you might actually, not knowing it, that you're actually almost laughing, and even though you're not really laughing in their face, you'll be laughing in their face like a smicker coming along that they'll pick up that you don't realize you're doing, because after multiple times, you know, that you would blow them off in this manner, I don't know, you might actually be smickering a little bit and not even realizing you're smickering when you're actually trying not to be smickering, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just trying to make it as short as possible, because instead of telling stories about any particular person I know, I'm trying to make this vague so you guys can say, oh, I know a person like that I had to do that shit, you know. I mean, I wanted to make this video for a particular, it can, I mean, make this video for any particular people that has some kind of story, without me wasting a whole bunch of time and telling any particular story or situation, and trying to give you a very much a ballpark or a nutshell situation, to tell you that you can just overwhelm them with a story of your own, and then always interrupt, to try to defuse any possibility that they think that you have any sympathy, that you're going to do anything they want, you know what I mean? Oh, this could be a subject for another video, but before I end this video, it's, yeah, loaning you, if it isn't about going to drink with them, it's about that, it's about, sometimes about they're trying to buddy up and eventually shack up with you, and a lot of times if it isn't that, it's they think you're some idiot that they're always going to try to get some kind of money off of you and get sympathy. Or if you're religious and don't swear in a workplace like anybody else does or whatever, there's scenarios where, yeah, they think you regard yourself as a Christian in a workplace. To some of these people, that means that falsely means to some of these people that you're a fool, you're an idiot, that you're just going to whip out money and give it to them, you're going to give them some place to stay. And I say this because some of them, they make it known, and other people in the workplace have made it known, if they didn't make it known to themselves, that they had some kind of criminal record. Nobody wants to be around. And even other, like, nicer people that you worked with that are alcoholics, that have better sense than that, don't want anything to do with these kind of people, you know. I've heard stories where people that you work with, the better alcoholics, would just quit going to a certain bar because some fucker that's a pain in the ass. But me being not being, but yeah, anyway, I say this because sometimes when you spent some of your life in your younger days, your first apartment it's like being single. Single person, they see, some people see a sucker that they're gonna try to move in with and buddy up with or whatever. But yeah, that's about it. But yeah, anyway, there's a lot of tricks that you can just not listen to people shit like that, or whether you think it's leading up to any of that shit or not. Even if it ain't, it's a good policy to deliberately talk them to death and overwhelm them with some kind of thing, you know. Even throw in some of their, like if they want to come and stay with you, it's not a bad idea to, even though you don't have any stories like that, say, oh no, yeah, I can't let you stay with me. Make it like you're concerned about them. Says, man, police are always watching me, man. You know, I wouldn't want you to get caught up in any stuff. I can't have you stay with me, man. I would feel terrible if man, yeah, I got the cops following me, the CIA following me, watching me, or whatever. Man, I wouldn't want, yeah, to. And they would even figure out that you're doing, they'd figure out eventually you're doing that on purpose. But it's like, yeah, deliberately in certain ways try to patronize them and act like you're looking out for them, man. Yeah, you got authorities and police always watching you, and you're doing that. Make it like when they're trying to weasel their way into your life and stay in your place so they can sleep it off on your couch or whatever. You know, act like you're doing them a favor and protecting them by refusing to let them stay in your place, you know what I mean? But anyway, even as boring as this video might be, I hope it gives you some kind of stories of people that you knew that tried to pull that. Well, you might even had an own relative same way to try to pull that shit, you know what I mean? Yeah, anyway, yeah, that's it for this video. I got through it without trying not to laugh because, yeah, I have a few memories that when I think about that make me laugh, see, you know?